So, Tom.
Hello, Taryn.
You know the old saying.
No.
When life gives you lemons...
Make lemonade?
No. Punch it in the dick until it stops. But what if it wasn't lemons, but zombies? What do you do then?
Punch them in the balls until they stop.
You can punch neither life nor zombies in the balls. What you need, sir, is zomfu. Do you know zomfu?
I do.
Do you know zomfu? Do you know zomfu?
I don't know Zomfu.
Then what you need is my brand new book, Walking Out, a Post-Urban Legend.
Oh, really? Tell me more about it.
It is full of all kinds of zombie-related wisdom.
Such as?
They'll hear the bang but not the twang. Ghouls bite, complacency devours. A fighter controls the weapon, a survivor controls the space. And it's safe souls, not body counts. Blah! All vital precepts of this wonderful, made-up martial art, Zomfu. It will tell you, you need to run and you need to hide, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes you need to fight, and you better believe Zomfu will see you through.
Zomfu will see you through.
Walking Out, a Post-Urban Legend by Taryn Wilmore. You can find it now, the Amazon Kindle store. Just search for Walking Out, or you can find me, the author, at www.facebook.com/Taryn Wilmore Books. That's TARANWILMORE Books.
Also, watch out for all links in the newsletters, on the website, on our Facebook page, and Twitter and Instagram and all that kind of shit. The book is released on the 28th of October, so...
That's in the past, bitches!
Yes, the book is called Walking Out, Post-Urban Legend. Done.
Sweet.
Burning my pretty flesh, you have pretty skin.
Happy Halloween.
We haven't got Taryn to do the whimsy.
We've got no whimsy. Happy Halloween.
Hello.
Sorry, did someone say whimsy?
The one episode where you do, 10,000 hours of whimsy, and I'm like sat at home going, I missed you guys.
It's the fact you text in at the time.
Somewhere, Whimsy Man hears something going wrong with our typical whimsy. Has anyone seen my cape, which incidentally is made out of unicorn sweat? Ha 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 ha, I'm so very random.
Oh, he's having to make up for lost time. Yes, so we are all gathered here, we being me, Tom.
We'll define gathered.
We are gathered here today
To witness the passing of one typically dead person. He died in the manner in which we would all expect someone to die.
Deadites.
And we're back in the room!
So we've also got Eddie.
In the words of Otto von Bismarck on the subject of war, you can't hurry love, you just have to wait. Love won't come easy, it's a game of give and take.
Quote
Fucking
unquote.
hell,
Yeah.
right. Greg.
How am I supposed to follow that?
Preferably into the mic.
Drop the mic, bitch.
Look, I think we're gonna have lots of problems with this mic.
Yeah, it's either too loud or it's too
we're not doing well this episode. Issue.
That's Andy.
I'm just. We struggled to get the headphones on. The mic on. He hit himself in the face with his headphones, and I just couldn't get them out of the mic stand. So, with suitably high expectations, we'll just proceed.
Audio is difficult.
Yep.
This is bearing in mind that Gregg, as in the man who's not quite capable of registering the volume problem, is the person who spent, 5 fucking hours at mine the other weekend trying to explain exactly how the universe works in relation to electricity, and now it's like, how do I do loud?
And that was how.
No, I think we're fine. I'm Tamara Beckwith's gammy shoulder on the exact day she realised she was her own identical twin.
So a pair of shoulders.
And that's Beth.
Hi, it's Beth.
Can we have a group snapping of thighs, please?
Of each other's thighs.
Shit,
All
we
right,
should have
Tom.
done leprechaun.
I'm so hungover and this is too much to deal with. So
Good.
we are gathered here to watch all 3 Evil Dead films 2 nights.
Whoa.
We've started about 3 hours later than probably we should have.
All night outside.
long, all night, all night, all night long. No. Okay, none of that. This is going to be sensible. We're going to watch this film.
It's going to be spooky.
This is going to be an
for Halloween.
academic pursuit of exactly why something is good. And I want serious points on precisely why it contains as many merits as your last dissertation on how to be sober the day you're operating machinery, young Ryan.
Yeah, that was a fun drive back from Brighton. So. It's when you have to take an hour nap before driving because you're frightened you're going to vomit.
I'm sure none of us have been there before.
Well, it is Halloween.
There we go.
Will this actually be out for
I'll put it up
Halloween?
on Halloween, yeah.
Right, okay, cool.
And on Halloween, can we play Atmosphere?
Yes.
I hated that
On
game.
VHS.
I
so
hated
much.
that game, so no.
Do you know what?
Couldn't
It
get on with
fucking disliked you as well.
It did.
Last
It
week
will-
it was like,
it will
tell you what,
dislike
that Andy Smythe, what a cunt. He's had nothing but harsh words from me. All these 16 years I tried to convert him to having a decent night out, and all his mates were like, this is going to be wicked, but he's like, no, fuck this.
I don't know where you can play Atmosphere on a night out.
You haven't lived.
That's a pretty nice theme.
Hey, man, portable DVD players, that shit changed games.
It's so funny that you would think Atmosphere was still around to make it onto DVD.
Your mum's still around, and she's not on a
Did
DVD.
it?
There was a
She
release
is,
of
actually.
Atmosphere on
You
DVD.
see,
Actually,
you
yes,
know
your
a
mum
lot
is on
about
a DVD.
Atmosphere for someone who hates it so much.
It's a board game-ish.
So you have to know about board games.
Well, no,
Does that help?
Yeah.
For those of you listening in black and white, what just happened is that Beth managed to push her mouth through the mesh of a pop shield, not unlike about 52 horror films that have ever existed. It is, after all,
Spooky Halloween, spooky. Yay.
I was watching, I think it's called Mirrors.
Oh, yeah.
With Bjorn,
Yeah.
and he had to leave before the bit in the film that everyone knew was coming, which was all the faces coming like out of the mirror. And he was so annoyed that he had to leave and go home, and then missed out on that. That's the only bit.
The
of
only
the film
bit.
hang on,
Film.
he didn't just leave the room. He left to go home. It was that scary in his mind.
No. He had something he had to do. But he was looking forward to seeing exactly that bit.
Because that's the only reason you watch that film.
And he had to leave beforehand.
Just a very quick round table before we embark on this cinematic extravaganza. What genuinely was the scariest thing that's ever happened to you on Halloween, or that you ever partook in?
On Halloween?
On Halloween, as in, because it's always comedy horror, isn't it? It's always been like, yeah, spooky, but was there anything that you've ever actually...
I don't know, I've never actively really sought particularly chilling experience on Halloween. I mean, last Halloween I went to a 10-hour drum and bass gig. It was pretty sick. I'm going this year as well.
Jesus,
And
that must have
scene
scared
was
you hard.
great.
But no.
So yeah, no actual terror.
Go on then.
In Cranham, where I come from, there is a tree, and the tree is called the Devil Tree, and every place has their local legends. But in Cranham, in the Devil Tree, which is just off Hall Lane, you go around three
Sorry,
times.
Hall Lane.
Hall, H-A-L-L.
Oh, okay.
Hall Lane.
Yeah.
And you go around 3 times. Devil, show yourself. And then the devil's supposed to take up, and there's like supposed to be a little girl that got taken. And there's like a really creepy looking little handprint, like naturally occurring in the bark. It's one of those things that you would look at it, wouldn't think it. If someone told you the story, that's all you can see. And then above that, there is a big hole, which is where a knot has just grown inwards. So that's supposed to be, take you through. And
Through Blancmange.
custard. Right. This is Britain, after all. But yeah, so we on Halloween, we thought it'd be fun to go up there, like 14, a couple of bottles of Bacardi, as you want to do. And then just randomly horrible timing, round about the end of the 3rd round. I think it was a truck or something backfired like bang on the road, and it scared the bejesus out of me. I'm a 14-year-old who is pissed off his tits, and I'm trying to summon the devil
tree
for a laugh in a place that I've been assured by many smirking people is real. And I wasn't expecting it, but that noise was just so ill-conceived timing that I must say, like, things puckered.
The devil tree is packing heat.
Yes. And this time is personal. But Evil Dead. Fuck Evil Dead.
Eddie's getting excited.
Yes. This is Evil Dead Day. This is ED Day. Or as I'm going to call it, Ed Day.
Ed Day. Do you remember at all, like, I'm trying to place in my mind what year it was, but there was one Halloween that was conveniently on the weekend, as they do quite often seem to be. And I think it was the BBC, who actually have been renowned in their history of existence to be very good at pranks and like April Fools and everything like that. And they did this one for Halloween, which was before any, well, if you count in Cannibal Holocaust, before any of the kind of found footage favourites that, you know, of today, which seems to be the bench format. If you don't have basically anything below 50 million to make a feature film that want to make slightly scary, it's becoming a bit saturated. But nevertheless, before all that, they decided to do a even pre-Most Haunted special on. They've just we're cutting now to somewhere in Edmonton Green, where in fact there has now just been a news report where the world's first legitimised footage of a poltergeist has now appeared, and they did the whole thing as we're breaking this program to say that it's like a Tomorrow's World, and then they go straight into this thing. And then mounted up and up and up and up and did this wonderful thing. We've installed these state-of-the-art CCTV cameras that have, wait for it, night vision. Now, some of you watching may be understanding what exactly night vision is, and then they go into the whole, because it was new then. And the BBC, given the budget that they're allotted with the subscription fee, they really pushed the boat out and did at that time, at that year, like really shit cutting edge. This was before CGD. They did the CG, where they did everything physically but perfectly. And I don't mind saying, even as the hardened cynic as I was at around 11, when, no, all right, this is really fucking me up. That was actually genuinely good. But prior to that, I'd say it's basically, you know how parents can be so utterly fantastic when you're the right age of it's always someone else's parents that push the boat out and go, no, I've really screwed with them this time. Yeah. So basically cut forward at the end of the night where you have like a ring of about sort of like 8 or 9-year-old children sitting in a ring with their eyes closed, putting their hands in bags.
Oh, the old peeled grapes.
I was really trying. You know, it's no.
Ew.
But yeah. Basically, one of our friend's parents had decided to tell a story, but it was like feel-o-vision. So they blindfold all these kids and make sure their eyes shut, and then they put their hands in the bags, and you can feel the eyeballs, which are just grapes in jelly, and it was gold, absolute gold.
Brilliant.
I don't remember anything particularly scary.
Retinol is a really good drug.
Oh. Oh, we've got Daz here as well.
I actually remember my first Halloween in England. So I was probably like 10 years old. And when I stepped outside at midnight to see all of the fireworks that being let off by the neighbours around my street, a pikey on a BMX rode past while standing on the seat and threw an egg at me.
Wow.
Hit my legs and then shouted, "Your mum's a slag!" and disappeared into the night.
Halloween at its finest.
I remember the worst Halloween I spent, which was just so hideously self-involved and self-congratulatory. Go me! Was that I got big, but when I sort of lost my faith as to where in Christianity, having been raised a Church of England Christian for all my life, my first version was I was dabbling with paganism, and so obviously Sam Hain being Halloween, and it's that season which is all based on anyway, and I sort of deeply as a 13-year-old being really terribly serious about myself, thinking that this wasn't rampant fodder to be taking the utter piss out of. I was like, no, this Halloween I'm going to stay inside and really sort of ruminate on my position within nature and the darker forces of everything. And like, you're going to sit in your bedroom being a miserable wanker, aren't you? Yes, I am. Oh, but I cast the runes though. Oh, well done. You must have had a whale of a time, didn't you? Yes.
I don't know whether it was on Halloween. I remember when I was at uni, my housemate being extremely pissed off because a mate of hers had come round, just chilled out for the evening. When it was sort of like at the end of the evening, he didn't want to just go home. He wanted someone to just come home with him, sort of thing, because he was too stoned and he just wanted to. He was paranoid about being out, sort of thing. So eventually he convinced my housemate to walk him home. Gets back to his place, insists he comes in, and then they sit down, they're watching TV or whatever, and then there's this noise that is just sort of like someone who's got a box full of wire coat hangers,
Right.
and is just shaking it, and all the coat hangers are going everywhere, and it's just that sort of noise in the house. But there was only the two of them there, and they're sitting watching TV. And then he's just like, oh no, like, what was that? And he's like, yeah, that's why I insisted you came round, because, like, that's been happening. And I don't know what that is.
Fucking hell.
So they go upstairs and they have a look, and they can't find anyone. And my housemate's just like, nah, this, you're having me on. There's someone else in this house.
It's a beautiful setup.
And, there's someone else in this house, I'm sure of it. They search the house, he can't find anything. They settle back down again. He thinks it's like, because one of the housemates had gone home for the summer, so it definitely wasn't him. He was in another country for the whole summer.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy, the other housemate, he was in the area, but he was on a date with his girlfriend. So anyway, they sit down and they watch the film a bit more, now a bit freaked out, and another noise happens, so same sort of thing happens, and that just really freaks them out then by this point. So they leave the house and they're standing in the street, and they call the guy who also lives at the house where the noises are happening, and insist that he come home, because otherwise they won't believe that it's not him hiding in the house somewhere. And he just like, he sort of has to say to his girlfriend, like, they've been out for a date, it's been lovely, they're just getting into bed.
Yeah.
Oh, so annoying.
At that moment.
And he's just like, yeah, I'm really sorry, like, I've got to go. Apparently my house is haunted and they're just to be in the house.
Amazing.
You would never see that girl again if you gave that excuse.
So he's left, and they're standing on the street, and they see him come around the end of the road and walk all the way down the street, and he is fuming.
I bet. Yeah.
But no one ever admitted to.
I was going to say, what's the
anything.
conclusion?
No one ever admitted to doing anything other than the sounds. They maintain that the sounds were absolutely like that.
Yeah.
And both of them, to this day, maintain that it was absolutely real.
That's wonderful.
And nobody has ever said anything.
That's
So I don't know whether it was just like the next door neighbours. They couldn't have been next door neighbours. They lived in a detached house.
Well, my mother and I lived into a place that's we used to a place in Hampstead Garden suburb that was, you know, when my parents divorced, and there's this amazing place that was. It was actually quite a large house, and it was very unexpected because we weren't planning to do that, but it just came on the market at an alarmingly low rent, especially for the area. And it was
Always a telling sign.
Well, no, this is the thing, and there were bits leading up to it. And my mother, being my mother, who is very, very a sort of, should we say, spiritual person, and sort of, she just believes in anything that could be otherwise. There was a staircase in this beautiful house that had been built at the same time in sort of just before turn of the century in the suburb. But this person that had last owned it had come in and sort of renovated massively, but then seemingly not touched it since I'd say late 70s. So it was orange carpet walls, you know, a loo cubicle thing that had dark blue tiles, and the loo itself was dark blue. I mean, this is kind of hideousness that was absolutely terrible. But what he'd done is he'd ripped out the original staircase, which was actually quite a feature, and instead put in one of those. Someone will tell me what the correct word for it was. Just a large wooden pole with just slats coming out, so you can sort of, it's a circular
spiral staircase.
Spiral staircase, but the problem being is it having been installed, I imagine, in the late 70s, a little bit worse for wear. So the first thing that alerted me was, and this is at the point where I had gone full atheism, and absolute rejection and cynicism of all things that could suggest being spiritual. And my mother actually, in a weird, is what reminded me of it, is that she actually called me home at one point when I was sort of working late, and she said, "No, I need you to come home. It's all a bit weird." She had been on about this for a while, but she just said she had just legitimately been chased up the stairs.
Jesus.
So I had to take. It took me about 3 nights to kind of get the gist of what the hell was going on, because I'd been trying to probe her. I was saying, like, look, what have you said? What happens when you get chased up the stairs? Because what she did, she apparently, my mother, bless her,
the years have been kind. She's a slightly larger lady than most, and she apparently was going up the stairs to go to bed, and ran the rest of it, and then got chased up and probably ran into bed, put the duvet over her covers, and tried to go to sleep. So, I got home and went, all right, okay, I'll test it a few times, and realised that basically because of the oldness of this staircase, that if you run up it at a certain speed, the wood takes a while to react to it, because it goes like that. So, true enough, you have your own footsteps following you up the stairs. But then one of the things that she kept noticing, because my mother being a film director, she works from film producer, so she works from home a lot, and so she doesn't keep regular hours, but she will occasionally pop out to the shops or anything like that. And this house was it had 3 floors, I think, so you could see all of the windows on the floors, and the very sort of ceiling attic-y type thing had just one window at it, and it was a very, very small 4-panel window, just tiny little thing, and it opens out like that. And when we got the house, the landlord, and I'm honestly not wanting to kind of film this up a bit, but had said like, oh, you have an entire round of the house, there's 2 rooms I'd rather you just not concentrate on, which is one was my miniature library thing, because he's an academic, and the other is just the attic, because I've just closed it off because it contains our stuff. I just prefer if you didn't go in there. It's like, well, you've locked it anyway, so it doesn't matter. So me being me, of course, I found as many keys as I could and went into the small library, turned it into my drum room because it was perfect. And then the other one that really bugged me is I couldn't gain access to the attic for the first 2 weeks. In that I tried and searched and everything to try and find the keys, but suddenly one day it was open. Now, obviously, I used to go up there a lot, because the thing is I had to pass the stairs that go up to the attic to get to my bedroom. And it's one of those periphery vision where any change of a shadow, i.e. being even your own, would distract you enough to go, oh, look, a person type thing. So, of course, my mother, every time she went to my room, was like, oh, I just saw someone on the top of the stairs. No, you didn't. It was your own shadow. It bloody wasn't. Stuff like that. Until finally, I was going up there often to try and fuck, proper horror movie time. Like, fuck. Until finally one week I ran up there and was brilliant. Mum, did you open this? I don't know. I could really play this. Like, come here now, and she was like, no, I'm not coming up there. How? I'm not coming. I was like, come here now. It's open. A proper squeak on it and everything. Like, oh, I'm winning on this one. So she then started noticing that she wanted it shut. We tried all the things to try and lock it and everything, but she started noticing something when she insisted that we lock it and find any way to shut it and everything like that, because she would come home and she'd always just check all the windows in the way that the car would come up the drive. And every now and again, the curtains that were shut across the window would occasionally be open, and then other times not. And my mother and I like at the odd drink and stuff like that, and we could, you just sit there and in lulls in the conversation, you get used to your own house, you know what sounds are what and from where, and there's this kind of and she's like, oh my god, that was a sound. It's like, brilliant. Me being, I'm like, right, I've got to prove it not to exist. I run up there, just get straight into the setting, like, right, come on. And of course, nothing happened, but my God, I played against my mum. So there's so many things. You learn a way to go up, pad up the stairs quietly, so she doesn't notice, and then go to the point exactly as above her bedroom. And go.
This all reminds me of the one time I did actually set up a prank for Halloween when I was at university. I'd bought a Ouija board a couple of weeks before Halloween, and basically gathered a group of friends that were going to do it, and I bigged it up to them every time I saw them. Oh, we're going to do a Ouija board. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. Set it up in the middle of this coffee table, lit candles, turned the big light off, that kind of thing. Set it up. Put on some spooky music in the background. Everyone puts their fingers on it. I go, is anybody there? And he goes, no. And I go, all right, game over. And put it away.
That's brilliant.
That's the one time I've done it.
Has anyone seen this recent craze though that's been doing the rounds so much? And I love it. How has it taken me this long to notice? To think of Charlie?
Yeah, the pencils.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's as deep. It's a simple principle. Is that you have a pencil, then actually it genuinely balance the other pencil in a perpendicular way, and you have it that way. And any atmospheric change within the room will prompt it, because of its balance and relative weight, to just turn one way. I mean, you could just walk past it and it'd be like, but what people are doing is underneath it putting, of course, the kind of like yes, no, whatever. And people are like, Charlie, are you there? And it will naturally, after long enough, just go, because there's someone breathing, Yeah. But some dude has gone onto one of those kind of like talent shows. It's like, I am the nth level of Kung Fu master that I've been to Tibet and been taught the ways of, like, you know, psychic action. Like, I can actually move inanimate objects by my will.
Yeah.
And this guy just sets this up and goes around it enough to be like, and yet, he's amazing! Like, well done. Yeah, okay.
Right, cool. Should we call that there? Let's go watch this film.
You don't want to do the whiskey? Are you drinking?
I'm not drinking.
Oh, well, there you are. Well, on the the sake of everyone else, I am tonight for everyone else drinking Black Grouse, as provided by the wonderful Sophie. Well done and a good choice.
Our first donated whiskey.
It says a marriage of fine peated malt, Scotch whiskies, dragon toenails.
Eye of Newt.
That feeling that someone that lives in the Northern Ireland likes to think that they come from Scotland, and the famous grouse. There we are.
Wonderful.
And how is it?
How is it? It's getting me pissed.
Lovely.
Cool, let's go watch some people get some pencils pushed through their ankles.
I'm excited.
Yay!
Cool.
Don't let the noise fool you, girls. This thing is solid as a rock.
Evil Dead 1.
If you
Done.
go down to the woods
Wait a
today,
second.
What's the
go
tagline?
shop for a
I've
big
just-
surprise.
Yeah. You
Got
go
word.
down to the woods today, you're sure to find
No.
some deadites.
No, not
For
really.
all the
Even
zombies and
here.
all the people.
He's loud.
Just open your legs, prepare for the steeple today. Today, the teddy bears get their ass raped.
Have we noticed that the only person actually constructively contributing to this doesn't have a headphone?
What?
I was saying that Ewan doesn't have a headphone, but there you go.
Why is he the only positive contributor?
Because he is going to be actually doing the entirety of this next section of the podcast. Did you not know that?
We have Ewan here.
Okay, Ewan, take it away. There it is. Thank you, Ewan, ladies and gentlemen.
I do my own stunts.
Tonight's
They are
podcast was
stunning.
brought by Ewan, written by Ewan, directed by Ewan.
1981 classic.
Sounds like talent.
The Evil Dead.
Ed version 1.
Starring none other than the bass and do of Bruce Campbell.
Groovy.
That was a brilliant haircut.
But the man can rock a bass.
Have you noticed his haircut changes from the abrupt beginning where he had this kind of like weird coiffure thing? And
It
then,
gets
That
blood
was
on
definitely
it.
a bowl cut.
but but also done with this weird kind of like 50s front piece. It does not quite Elvis. And then as soon as the action gets going, something goes because it cuts to a scene where the shot is from Worm's Eye view, and his hair is like bah, just completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, however, if I were to attack this entire film on terms of continuity, I think I'd fail quite hard. It's a given that we know.
Blood, baby wipe, and
The lighting is
But the
so
lighting,
cool.
it's incredible. You can see it's in every single scene. I mean, thank heavens for in one sense that Sam Raimi, the exemplary director that in some senses, has managed to improve a lot in his skills, because you can see at that point in 1981, which this was made, as just being like, okay, what do filmmakers do? Yeah, they put a lead light in this entire scene. Like, let's just put it in the corner there. What about the bits that they're outside? Oh no, we'll put a light outside.
A spotlight.
Just and
I
there's
love it so much. It's beautiful. It's like Adam's Family, which I know is referential of the light over the eyes, film noir style.
yeah.
It's so cool. You allow so much of that. It doesn't give a fuck about if it's pointless or
just a light.
unrealistic. It's so cool to have that.
Do we, however, think that this film is in any way referential to anything else? And that's an open question.
I have
Yes,
that question too.
yes. I think it's a strong story of perseverance.
Is it a comedy or a horror?
No, it's an uplifting story of moral fortitude.
And romantic comedy.
Yes, there is 80s boob. There is
80s boob.
80s boob, but the man must persevere to kill everything 80 times. Because it will come back with the single longest death scene in movie history.
Oh, that was incredible.
Which had to get a standing ovation.
This is the one of the the second lady getting infected. Oh, first lady. Oh, Obama.
Well, he has to kill his best friend, his sister, and his girlfriend.
Yeah, but the
and
death
his-
we're
and his
talking
best
about
friend.
being
And his
really
best
long
friend,
is the one where she stabs herself in the back.
Stop stabbing yourself.
Stop stabbing yourself. Stop stabbing yourself.
But when a man boards up the only remaining door in a house that's been blown apart by every other wall and window,
The
but
window's
insists
wide open.
that he will hold that door up, and to his credit, the Deadites stayed behind the one door. They had a verbal contract.
The way he moved it, I thought it was on wheels.
But did we? There's no reference at this point within this first film to the Deadites themselves. That's actually that's a
Yes,
number 3
that's later thing,
construct, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it is interesting that the whole thing of like, oh, you've got to join me. Yeah, join us. Which after a while you start realizing it's like, well, it becomes the zombie movie theory and complex. Like, if the zombies are manic to try and eat living flesh, at what point does, when the zombie eats the living flesh because they're really hungry, do they stop and go, no, it's okay, we'll leave them back and they're going to join us because if I eat them slightly or just bite them? But then what you get in a lot of even modern zombie movies where you get the chase and this person gets consumed and it's awful because it's in the background, the lead character's running away, but this person's left to it's the horror of the zombies attacking them. At what point do the zombies go, oh, easy lads, if we leave this one long enough, it'll come back and be one of us.
I
and we
didn't
can get
even
more
know
food.
that these guys were zombies.
Oh,
I thought it
no,
was
they're
like
not.
a spell. They're not.
They're not, but the whole thing... something I noticed in the early point of number 1 of Evil Dead is that there's a consistent reference to the right hand. From the very beginning when the girlfriend gets this kind of like moment, she has this dream sequence where she carves the Book of the Dead into the
SpongeBob scene.
Yeah, SpongeBob
scene is that is done with this infected right hand, so there's a consistent like reference to it throughout and everything. And it seems to be that when Ash gets, I don't know, bitten, tainted, blood mixed, whatever, that bit gets consumed by the evil. But the thing is that what you're discounting is that the rest of the characters all at some point essentially get bitten in some way. And yet, which is the way you're supposed to kill? It's, in all zombie movies, it seems to be if you hit them hard enough and keep going, or you blow a hole in their head, dead.
Yeah.
But what happens to the people that get eaten for food? Do they not come back?
Yes, but they come
but
back as evil feces in your intestines. They eat you from the inside out.
We're going to give you the zombie file.
Mr. Hanky, the origin story.
Hidey-ho!
But what was the... He never...
Sorry,
They kept saying, like, join us. But it wasn't like a choice. All the others didn't choose.
It's
to
much
join
like
him. They were
Scientology.
just possessed, so it obviously just had the...
I think it's whatever persuades with quality any of these sort of... It's like, it's quite nice over here. Trust me, we've got fringe benefits.
It's much like Scientology. They ask you to join, but they know you're going to.
Yeah.
Should we address the elephant in the room here?
What elephant?
Why is it that the women get sent out in the dark by themselves consistently, and all the boys are just like...
Well, because the bread's not going to buy itself, is it?
They just chose to run out into the dark in their slippers.
Because sometimes you just want a tree.
Yeah.
Got wood.
Got wood.
Got wood.
But the thing is, right, so...
There has got to be a forest somewhere that someone has named Got. Are you going up to Gotwood?
Gotwoods. Yeah. Yes, master. I saw them in Gart Forest. Sorry, did you mean, you silly poor person, Got Woods? Oh no, I specifically said Gart Forest.
I have some ridiculous notes that I've taken down about the tree raping scene.
Rooter, I hardly
yeah. Being root her, I hardly know her. Might be the tagline for the whole film. I've got semen equals sap. Alex Sinnott, who has been on the podcast before, he is a tree surgeon / arborer. So
don't hold it against him.
We are thinking about all these different kind of scenarios where his job would just be a little bit more exciting and happy ending than normal. What does the tree want with her vagina? Is what I've written down.
Acorns.
Tree hugging in quotation marks. And also, I'm thinking that this whole scenario where the tree was just really annoyed, do you not think log cabins in the woods are just taking the piss a little bit? Because it's a log cabin made of dead trees surrounded by other trees that can look at the log cabin and go, "Ah, brother!"
So log cabins are just a form of torture towards
They
trees.
are. It's like feeding. It's like when in South Park they fed the pig bacon.
No, it's to serve as a reminder to the trees from their overlords. We've done this once, we'll do it again.
Look at this matchbox. It's even made of your friends. And
We're just going to leave a warning
your
here.
friends will be the source of your destruction.
Right, so I've noticed something
Tree suicide bombing.
Don't worry, we'll be there in a minute. Oh, fuck. Something I've noticed is that that film was made in 81. I think Evil Dead 2 was 83. It was, yeah, cool. Something I've noticed that the amount of cultural references that were made, was it 3 or 7?
I'm just.
No, it was 3. That was, yeah. That something I've noticed that there's a massive, huge amount of cultural references that have been made to Evil Dead 2. Now I realise. Not 9. As Eddie's just tried his little sign to me.
This is what I'm thinking. Is it referential or is it the reference of other films?
No, I'm. Well, I mean, you read interviews from other people and stuff like that. Like, for instance, for me, there's at least some of my favourite bands that have referenced now, as I realise, the second film, which is Dearside did the tune "Dead by Dawn," where they even actively completely quote lyrics straight from the scripts of like, "You're dead by dawn," something in the Castle of Cantor. But they actually did this back then. It was not seen as comical to make a song about this particularly evil film. So it makes me wonder if the reception for
Dead by Dawn's about the suicide cult, isn't it?
no, you're thinking Sacrificial Suicide, which is on the first album.
Right.
No, that's Manson. No, not Manson. That's the one where they had the not strychnine, cyanide. They all had the cyanide drink. Yeah.
And of course, the other one that quoted Evil Dead was ABBA's Waterloo, where obviously they were making a very moral and construct point about the nature of the situation.
But however, but it feels the Nephilim use, as I now realise, they actually had a sample from the first film. Yeah, so they had like stuff like that. It's amazing to think that there were bands around at the time of these prominent movies being made, that they would just sample it, being like, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Evil Dead 1 was banned originally, wasn't it?
It was on the Video Nasties list.
Yeah.
All that stuff happened like literally around the time I was born.
Uh-huh.
I remember looking at one of the prosecutors.
Sorry, you.
Beth
That was
just
very
broke
good
you.
point.
That's a fine point.
Gosh, okay. Because this one's really quiet. Sorry.
Yeah, he's my guitarist. He does that.
No. His microphone's really quiet for some reason.
Yeah. There's some of the prosecution dates on the Video Nasties. Are like my actual birthday.
Oh, really?
Weird. Yeah. No, but Evil Dead was one. What was it? The judge. I think it was Evil Dead with a judge in one of the cases. Somebody he said, he said to a witness, what do you think of this film? And he said, well, it's well executed. He said, the invasion of Poland was well executed.
Man, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty well executed, but I think you're giving it
Well executed in the sense that maybe in retrospect
A lot
we
of
can
people
see it as a
died.
cult film, in the way that, let's be honest with you, technically speaking, this is not a fantastically made film. However, it seems like it's almost self-referential enough to lend itself to it being a cult classic. It's not. If you look at it, right? Okay, let's compare it in the most horrible way, which we probably would hate to do, but there has been a remake since, yeah, where and notice that we're not viewing it tonight. But the whole thing is that since that remake, the remake was made after films such as Cabin in the Woods,
such a good film,
and a ton of there's. I mean, God, to count the amount of movies that have in some way. Yeah, that have some way like.
I reckon Shrooms pulls from it.
Yes, no, it absolutely does, entirely. But the thing is that there's so many films that have used that principle, and even to a point of comedy. Then they made the remake, which is, as is seemingly the big problem with so many of them, high production value, really good consideration, not as good.
The thing that a lot of people complained about actually when the remake came out, though, is it's played it straight and it's it's not funny anymore. But I think it's a case of people misremembering. They're remembering Evil Dead 2, not Evil Dead 1. Because we've just seen Evil Dead. And that's not a comedy. No. Some of it is kind of maybe a little bit tongue in cheek,
comedic,
yeah, and even more so now because of the low budget aspect of it. But it's people kind of misremember it.
What they were trying to? That was trying to be serious.
That was not a comedy though. I mean,
But
have
it
you-
wasn't
have
out
you
and
seen
out.
it? Have you seen
the
it?
second one?
Yeah, I think I've never seen one. I think I've only ever seen two.
It was
And it's
perhaps
so good.
it was perhaps not
it
trying
is-
to be a black comedy. I mean, one can perceive it as such, but it wasn't, let's say, a sort of absolute thing when they started off going that. Apparently, Raimi, when directing it, cast. I mean, he was aware that it was a low-budget movie and played to that as such. And there's only so many things you can do. But then look at a lot of that film's contemporaries around the time, where you've got other movies
Bad
using.
Taste.
Yeah, who are using?
Well, that taste was like 1990, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
I
it
thought
was,
it was
a
earlier
bit
than
later
that.
on than
But
that. Yeah.
but in any case,
Must be
using.
later.
But Neville's don't run.
But looking at what's available around that time of sort of like, you know, they were using that kind of, you know, super plastic sort of on top of the skin. Yeah, no. What you mean, Ray Harryhausen?
Yeah.
No, they weren't. They used that just in the end scene, you know, when the two deadites are decomposing and stuff like that, and you do that. But it was very plastic, you know, the sort of.
Oh yeah, it was claymation.
I think I always thought it was the first one, but it's the second one where they basically ran out of money and had to do the last sort of 10 minutes of the film in claymation.
Well, to be fair, they did have to remake the whole first one for the first half of the film. So
Yeah, that's what I think. There's Evil Dead 2 is the remake of Evil Dead.
Yeah.
It does seem odd that they
in a
decided
world
to-
of remakes, they were ahead of the curve once again.
But it's interesting though that they seem to sort of like with the remake that they're doing now and the sort of revisit of Ash versus Evil Dead, that it's seen as the absolute pivotal aspect, regardless of Sam Raimi's involvement or not, is basically Ash. It has
Bruce.
to be
It's all
Bruce,
about
Bruce Campbell, that sort of who hasn't done, let's say, terribly, but has basically done very well on, I guess, cult status, I suppose, but. I mean, it's not like he has. I think he's done about one or two like
He
sort
has
of
been
actually
in
straight
Ally
films. Yeah,
He does a lot of like voice acting and stuff like
Yeah.
that. He does a few films where you wouldn't necessarily know it was him.
Fucking Burn Notice. Burn Notice was amazing.
Yes.
Bubba Himotep.
But Bubba Hotep, that I sort of I'm wanting to see that. But the things I've noticed that Sam Raimi and he have a specific relationship where every single film ever made by Sam Raimi post Evil Dead has Bruce Campbell in it at some point, be it a
good.
bum on the street or whatever. Like, and I think that's rather nice.
That's lovely, yeah.
To be fair, I wouldn't mind if Hollywood all adopted that role.
Yeah.
That'd be lovely.
Every
Every
film
director.
has to
Wait, so
have
they already have
Bruce
it.
Campbell.
But Tim Burton. I mean, yeah, I've got to have my mate Johnny Depp in it, otherwise
No, like
people
fuck
will make
Johnny
it a good
Depp.
film.
Every film must have Bruce Campbell. I'm not even shitting it. Like Tangled must have Bruce Campbell. Frozen, let it go.
I'll tell you what, I'd agree with you. Is every single film, specifically rom-coms, have to have basically Bruce Campbell headbutting Ally McBeal, Callista Flockhart. I think that would just be.
Would her head not explode like a deadite?
Oh, imagine that. But non-done. Harryhausen.
Non-done?
Non-done. Non-done with hard-on. It's a not with Harryhausen. Oh no, with. It goes from Bruce real live action of the headbutt sequence, and then just at the last minute, it transfers to Harryhausen stop motion. But he's done back from the dead. He's come back like a deadite, but to create the perfect Callista Flockhart face that is so realistic. There's no shine on it.
On
or
a
anything.
slight side note, I never get starstruck. I went to a Harryhausen signing in London, and I couldn't actually say hello to him.
The only way that I'd have that scene work out is if it's up a shed.
Up a shed, not in, up.
Up
a shed. Not right down even. It's up a shed.
They don't like it up them. They don't.
Right up a shed. Oh wow, yeah. You just...
You know what you're saying about reference?
Yes.
Whoop.
Reference.
Reference. The house that bled to death, you said, came first.
Yes, it was.
Well, I've
No,
not
he
seen
said
that
the
one.
house that came to death bled first.
First come, first serve.
Explain what this is.
Right. There's a moment that, I mean, if you're going to identify all the, inconsistencies within Evil Dead 1, you might as well not enjoy it. So you're not going to have, continuity issues and everything like that. But
That'd never happen.
yeah, exactly. There's no point in doing it. But there are certain references that I find particularly interesting. One is which there's no reason for that house in that cabin in the woods to have plumbing, but nevertheless it does. It has some...
Where's all the blood going to go?
Yes,
Ow,
quite
thanks.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. However, there is something that there's a moment where the plumbing downstairs in the attic, downstairs in the cellar, comes apart, and blood pours out of it. Now, there was a very, very good Hammer House of Horror long form sort of like horror piece, which was this when the House of Hammer, as it was, film production team sort of started dissolving a little bit. They transferred
was
to
this
TV.
Hammer time?
This was Hammer time. There's this wonderful piece called The House That Bled to Death, where essentially a children's birthday party, if they're all 3 years old, is interrupted by a bursting mains pipe that spits blood all over them. And that was all over children, and they're all screaming. And then you realise it must have taken quite a lot to get a room full of 3-year-olds, all apparently voluntarily, to scream their guts out whilst covered in spewing blood.
The fact you say that shows how little you have to do with 3-year-olds. if you just bring in a bowl of jelly, they will all scream their lungs out.
I'm a chutney farmer. But so that was made in, I think, something like 79. But however, can one really begrudge a good horror movie referencing another?
Can one overanalyze a good horror movie?
Yes, one can, and go.
It's a tree
We're
snuff
20
film.
minutes into
Watch
it now.
Tree snuff. Tree snuff.
And just the scene of Brucey Baby leaving the cabin covered in blood, exhausted. It just takes me back to fucking Fabric.
Leaving the club.
Leaving a
On the
club.
wall actually said it was 3:10, so Julie like Slime Night was still open.
Good few hours left raving there. Bruce is a pussy. You can't even hack it till 6 a.m.
He had some of that orange speed and it all went wrong.
Yeah, but
Always
the
does
thing
with the
is,
orange
the
speed.
after club wanted to charge him. He'd already paid once.
Taxi minicab. Join us! Join us!
Yeah.
You know, there was a point where he tries to lock his girlfriend up in the random, like, dominatrix style bed with
It's when he goes for the chainsaw. Like he's just chained her to the bench that like in 6 places, and then he turns round and there's just a poster there, and he just rips it down, and then like, perfectly positioned, like as if it was a computer game, and it's just like ammo, pick up, chainsaw.
Which, by the way, a good note to mention that in the early part of the film where they go downstairs into the cellar and find the book, on the background is the poster for the original Hills Have Eyes.
And that's what I'm talking about with the reference and stuff like that. But when he locks her up on that wooden bed with fucking
Big table thing.
The table
Love.
with the love, with the
chains.
dominatrix style chains and clips and shit like that. Someone in the room, I think, said, "Oh, why would this log cabin randomly have this?" And we're just thinking about the dominatrix side of Airbnb.
Yeah.
Can sleep 4 and whip 6.
Honey, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. Welcome to Airbnb. But have you noticed this though? The use of the chainsaw that they're going to. What came first in Raimi's mind? So that I wonder whether because the pivotal moment, obviously, in the second movie that we're about to visit is the
Spoilers.
The whole chainsaw. Well, yeah, it's such a pivotal thing. And all the references to the right hand that has been there throughout the entirety of the first film, it does slightly make me wonder, that maybe they were leading up towards
Doing
quite possibly, yeah.
But
I think for the remainder of this podcast, they've been out long enough that instead of saying spoilers, we can just say, if you've not seen them before now, you have no taste and you should go out and kill yourself. No, seriously, kill yourself.
No one is listening to this who has not seen Evil Dead before.
But if you are, kill yourself.
Right.
Should we
Second
crack
one?
on?
all right, come on, second one.
All right, let's go.
Okay, and kill yourself.
Hey, I'll swallow your soul. I'll swallow your soul. I'll swallow your soul.
Swallow this.
You get fingered behind the bins at Tesco's just like everyone else.
Evil Dead number 2.
The return of Rolf Harris and his thingy.
When Ray Harryhausen says, "Could do, yeah, depends how much you pay me." That whole ballet scene, where when the girlfriend is sort of doing the ballet business with the head missing and everything like that. And
yes.
Ewan, did you say that there's a point at which they
Was that the first one or the second?
No,
one?
actually, I think I was thinking of the first one. They kind of ran out of budget at the end, and so that's why there's a lot of claymation at the end of it. But
Yeah, but claymation's so good.
It's always good, anyway.
It's better than CGI.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's a uniquely different film, but at the same time, it is massive. Let's just speak about, except for this moment, it is deeply awkward watching that movie and then realizing that essentially they wipe out most of the first movie, surmise it within about, I'd say,
first 15 minutes.
Yeah,
it's a combination of like carrying on from it, but also ignoring it. It's like it gets. I think probably what they did was they realized that at the time you didn't have like DVD and Netflix, so not everyone had seen the first one. So they're trying to bring everyone up to speed or something.
Well,
in many ways, it was like Highlander 2.
Oh,
it was not like Highlander
2.
In that Highlander 1 happens, but let's change every aspect about it to make it fit where we want to go.
Aliens.
Yeah.
Where?
Do you know what that's just reminded me of? The bad reviews that your grandpa's autobiography got because he didn't start. He started from where the first one left off, but people bought the second one thinking, oh, it's going to be an autobiography from the start. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, but where's your childhood? And they're like, no, I've already written one autobiography. You're supposed to read the first one and then start with the second one. And
But however, there is something that makes me wonder is that did Raimi and co. Build the second movie on the critical reception or cult reception, which can you necessarily quantify at that time? Between 81 and 83,
it was 87. Even there too.
Ah,
yeah,
okay, yes. Well, there's that.
Right. Sneak a bit of Wikipedia.
Okay. That was me convinced it was between 81 and 83. But okay, but does that mean that essentially Raimi's responding to cult sort of criticism or support?
I would imagine so, because everything the first film did right, they did in abundance in this film.
Yeah.
Sort of
definitely.
like
the reactions, they just
gory scenes. The best moment for me of the film. My favourite moment of the film ever is where he shoots the wall and the blood comes out. But just as it happens, Beth screams at the top of her lungs,
"Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is the tidal wave."
Although there was one other great moment where a crucifix that's used to mark a grave falls over in the woods and Beth just screams,
"Where's your God now?"
I mean, yeah, you're right. Like everything the first film did well is in the second film loads, but that's the second film just feels like they looked at the first film and thought, yeah, but we can do better.
Yeah.
That's why it's the same film.
But it's interesting to think is whether there was like, I mean, now we can look back at on retrospect and go, that's an Evil Dead sort of like shtick or style or anything like that. Is that they wouldn't have been doing that by the time they're making the sequel to it. I mean, obviously you got like Cabin in the Woods and then the remake and everything that also occupies that area of quite literally the cabin in the woods. But at that point, it makes me wonder how much was Raimi's decisions on Evil Dead 2 being responsive, or whether it was just him.
There's lots of little sort of nods to the first one, like he runs to go and get the chainsaw, which was in a certain place in the first film, and then he looks and it's gone, and it's kind of like.
And as Andy says,
self-referential.
Well, he said right. He says he tears the thing down, and there's a chalk line of this.
It's so good.
Yeah. Cock and balls.
Which, to be fair, if you're a new viewer, you're never going to get it. You're going to have people in the audience in the cinema going but you're going to be like, what the fuck?
No, but I think that's still funny.
Yeah. But it doesn't even look like a chainsaw, really. It looks like a cock and balls, as if they died there on the wall.
They did make very good use of that whole thing of like, if someone's missing a limb or a head, or they're missing the rest of their whole body, is that putting the girlfriend's head in the vice, where she's obviously like beneath the work desk,
that's really
was
cool.
Actually, to be honest with you, it's a weird self-note moment where you sort of look at it and go, oh wow, because the way that they've done it is that the edge of her neck moves. It's like, no, that's because she was stuck in a desk with loads of makeup all over it. But it's a good moment though.
I think the scariest bit of the film came about 3/4 of the way through when we found out we'd run out of munchies.
That was quite bad, actually. Yeah, that was pretty hard.
Just empty bags, just being shaken.
My fault.
You have been on a Venom tonight.
I'm afraid I've been on one quite hard.
But for me, best part of the film, I'm a traditionalist. Groovy.
Oh yes.
Groovy.
There is something I couldn't help but notice though, that between the first and the second movies is that Bruce Campbell gets significantly more lithe. I mean, his face is way less boyish.
Angles.
He
It's
develops
all
an
angles.
acting style in this one.
Yeah.
In the first one, he just doesn't really have like an acting style.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd actually done anything before that
Well,
one.
let's find out. Well, between 81 and 87, is there anything
I
that...
don't think he'd learned to turn his eyes white. and the way he pulled his cheeks so sunken.
Yeah.
I mean, that is character acting at its best.
He did get a bit method and sort of his own hand.
but he was integral to the role. And I'm sure Raimi said, look, I don't want to press you into this.
Okay, he'll never play Romeo, but...
But a Captain Hook, he would make...
Oh, yes!
He pulls it out.
I have to say, though, there was at least 3 or 4 scenes there that were more art-focused.
Yeah.
Like,
All Raimi's films are like pretentious art student. Like,
Yeah, but he does it so well.
I mean, it's just like, flash red, now!
No, but Beth pointed it out. There's a moment where it looks exactly like Madonna's Ray of Light music video. Just him flying backwards through the forest.
There's a couple of points, one through the forest and one through the back of the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Madonna and Britney Spears' music video.
Right, so we are saying that pop music is pulling heavily from Bruce Campbell.
Exactly.
As well it should.
Yes.
Okay, so apparently what we have here is 1981 Evil Dead. For Bruce Campbell, this is.
Yeah,
then...
so Evil Dead was the first film that he
Yeah?
ever did.
No.
no, not necessarily.
not?
No. He
Hang on. There's something where he's got the character of Bruce
hang on. So
in Within the Woods.
Within the Woods in 1978.
That's
so
got to be a
nevertheless
horror.
was before. So Toro in 81, which is a
Sam
short.
Raimi as well.
I don't know.
Then Cleveland Smith Bounty Hunter in 82, going back 84, Crime Wave 85, Strikers War 85, Evil Dead 2 87. So yes, there were at least some, but is it enough for him to define a style? I don't know. But I'd prefer to think that maybe he came into this film and just was like, oh, I'll just do a slightly better version.
It's enough for him to cement himself into Comic-Con history.
Yeah.
He chews the scenery in such a delicious way. Everything is overacted to the point where it looks like he's lost his mind.
Yeah.
But from the very start, even when he's talking to his girlfriend, he's like, "Hey, baby, last time I checked."
Yeah.
Like Alex, just when he comes around and turns to Seal.
That sounds so strange.
Seriously, it's fucking brilliant. Like
There's
Alex does Bruce Campbell it up a bit.
Sorry, by the way, Seal's Alex's girlfriend.
There is me.
No, I'm talking
not
about
the
a
musical.
black man with
Yeah.
stars in his face.
There is me forgetting that he was in the Hudsucker Proxy as well.
Was he?
But yeah, he was Smitty in the.
Every time I watch that film, I find someone else is in it. I forgot John Goodman was in it.
Oh, I love John Goodman.
And Knots Landing, funnily enough, which I actually forgot he was in a
The fuck
TV
is he in
series.
Knots Landing?
He was apparently only in one episode, Joel Benson. So, but however, he's always going to be. I mean, not like he's done too badly with it, but you know, I mean,
it's always horror.
Bruce Campbell is always going to be Bruce Campbell as.
No, Ali McBeal.
Was he in that?
Yep.
Good God, was he? Okay.
It was quite horrific.
As a major character? Or...
As a reoccurring
Good
cameo.
heavens. Okay, hang on.
And the Spider-Man films weren't horror.
Well, yes, but that's Sam Raimi as well. He's whatever film Sam Raimi. He's been interviewed
He
about
was in Congo.
The
Are you
most
joking?
recent thing that he was in, actually, that I know of, was he was a voice in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh, such a good movie.
Because the character looks nothing like him, and it took me until the end of the film to realise who it was. But there's a lot of people like that in that, actually.
From Dusk Till Dawn 2.
Xena, Warrior Princess, boosh. Anyway, we could do this all night.
In Congo, he was the guy who died at the beginning.
Oh, fantastic. And he wasn't even black.
And then they went on the expedition to go find him.
This
he was only in it to get murdered by a giant
snake.
Killer ape.
The only thing,
A giant J-Lo.
The only thing I remember about Congo.
Oh, wait, that
is,
was Anaconda.
Congo was killer.
Quick, let's go look for him. 1, 2.
Does my butt look big and woo?
There's 2 memorable things from Congo. Number 1,
J-Lo.
Tim Curry has the 4th most annoying accent in film history.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
And yeah.
In Congo.
In case
I can't remember Congo.
In case you're asking, number 1 is still Dick Van Dyke. And number 2.
Oh.
there's a really great scene where the boat's travelling in front of the waterfall, and it's quite obvious that they wanted the boat to go from right to left. So they just reversed the footage, so the waterfall's going backwards.
Oh,
Seriously?
Yeah, it's a magnificent.
I've heard that before.
That's amazing.
I love film shit. Like, if you ever want a real giggle, watch Citizen Kane.
I fucking love Citizen Kane.
Like, there is a bit where they go out to a picnic and all the staff are driving all the stuff up.
Yep.
The stock footage they use have dinosaurs in the background.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
There are pterodactyls flying around this picnic.
Fantastic.
That's why that film is so great.
The other memorable thing about Congo is stop eating my sesame cake.
Right. Okay. So, Evil Dead 2. Are we happy?
Always happy. Bruce Campbell, motherfucker.
I was extremely happy when Andy pointed out to me that the book that he places on top of the bucket that then has his severed hand on is says farewell to arms.
Tom.
Yeah.
Are you still hungover?
Yes.
Groovy.
Oh, we got another one to go through.
No, we've
Yay.
got the one.
The one to go through. This is going to be fun.
Is this where it is the I woke up in the wrong time, or is?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
where he goes back to medieval America.
Can't wait.
They sort of do the same sort of thing, like rewriting the end of the last
Yeah.
film at the
Yeah,
beginning
yeah,
of this one.
Basically,
setting up.
this film is just
He's
to
got his
stop
car
Sam
when he
Raimi
gets there.
having exploding light bulbs of blood by going back to an age before light bulbs.
Yeah.
So I can't let this finish without referencing swallow this.
There's
But
also
also-
a bit where he, like, a tree grabs the back of a woman's head and pushes her down.
But
Yeah, that's
but
what I
there's,
saw as
th- th- there's also in this the very well done reference to Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Oh, of course. I never thought of it. What, you mean the ending?
Yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
Of course it is.
Oh shit!
You're
It's
so
Spaceballs.
way back there. Yes, it's well good. Yeah.
I had to study Planet of the Apes in music because the music in Planet of the Apes is so good to describe what's going on.
You mean, you
It's
don't mean
amazing.
the Planet of the Apes musical from The Simpsons?
No. Oh my god, what is that?
Was it?
I forgot his
Will
name.
I play the piano anymore? Of course you can. Well, I couldn't before.
Anyway, your mum, Evil Dead.
Third film.
Go on then.
Go on then. Right, let's go.
Bring the noise.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. My fair lady, ha!
Well, it's 12:30 now. We've done it, guys. We've got through 3 films, which feels a lot less than the fucking Star Wars saga.
To be fair, it is a lot less. It's half as many.
Well done.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. But I'm extremely tired.
It was a little Spanish.
That film is phenomenal.
It's just the better version of all of them, really.
It's so fucking dumb. It's brilliant.
I think I turned off because there was about an hour's worth of literally just fighting.
And it was awfully complicated, darling. Didn't have any kissing or Ryan Reynolds.
There was no knitting or kittens.
Anyone else?
1 mil.
Yawn.
Well, I didn't make it through the entire film.
No.
I was asleep. So the
You
bit,
made it.
Because
that I
there
was
was
awake
constant
for,
fighting.
The bit I was awake for was very, very, very good. I wish I'd seen more.
High praise indeed.
He beat the Army of Darkness with science.
Ewan, your particularly scathing and very rehearsely critical response.
Whoa.
Thank you, Ewan.
It's always lovely to
If I
have
could
you
sum it
here
up in a
anyway.
word, you know, yeah,
It could be woe.
it would be whoa.
No, it'd be groovy.
So it was made in '93.
We should really do our research before we set up with microphones and shit.
You
Okay.
don't try and pretend we're like professionals.
We're a punkcast, motherfucker.
We're keeping it real.
Well, ish.
Yeah, but punk is only people trying to do music when they can't play music. So what does that say about us?
What does that say about no effects?
That means they're definitely not valid musicians.
Or stiff little fingers. Or Henry Rollins.
Yeah, that's more hardcore, really, isn't it?
I don't know, man. He calls it punk.
Anyway, Army of Darkness.
Oh yeah. Right, so Ewan.
So Black Flag was excellent.
Go on, Ewan. Go on. Just sum it up. Go on. Just.
Thanks, Ewan. Right, anyway.
What's the tagline for this film then?
Ewan says it all. Is that not right?
He says it best when he says nothing at all, I think.
And other Alanis Morissette classics available in
motherfucker.
Isn't that ironic?
Don't
you think?
It would be the only thing ironic in that song.
Isn't that
Anyway,
ironic?
Army of Darkness. Have we actually gone brain dead that we can't even comment
Yeah,
on the film?
we've just watched 3 fucking Evil Dead films. Of course, we've gone brain dead.
I've absorbed the powers of Bruce Campbell.
There's only so much SFX in the world.
I thought that was going somewhere.
That was not going anywhere.
Not TFX. Is that the SS had their own CGI team, or?
Yes, a lot of like CGI in showers.
Was made by Nazis.
That's dark.
Dear Lord, guys, come on. We got nothing to say about this film.
It was quite good, wasn't it?
I just love the fact that he makes his own. The film was silly anyway. He falls through the portal into medieval America.
Yeah. Which is filled with
English people
and Chinese people and Scottish people.
Yeah.
And dead people.
And one blacksmith that does not know his place. Like, he joins the king for dinner. He's a fucking blacksmith.
Call a locksmith.
Racist.
Call a locksmith.
Sorry.
Honey,
But
it doesn't fit.
His robotic hand.
Robotic hand. I forgot about the robotic hand.
How can you forget about the robotic
Steam
hand?
pad car. Just all these things. That the
Let
man
alone
can-
making cartridge ammo in like the 9th century.
Yeah, because he never runs out, and yeah,
It's brilliant.
It's utter whimsy. Whereas Evil Dead 2 was at least a comedy horror film.
Yeah.
Whereas this was just.
I don't think
This
this
was
was trying to
wacky.
attempt to be in any way sort of a credible, serious film, though. I mean, it was obviously intended to be.
Oh, absolutely, and it's brilliant the way it's got there. I think the only films I can think that have you seen the Machete films?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
they get progressively more ridiculous in a very same sort of vein.
And they start
As the-
so suspenseful.
No, but Machete kills in space.
Does he? Does he get to machete in space? Dear God!
Jason did it.
Oh, I didn't realise that. I thought there was just this one, and it was sort of like, oh my God, that's a bit far fetched. You're already getting Danny Trejo, who apparently will actually basically appear in anything. I mean,
Did
seriously,
not Spy Kids already demonstrate this?
Oh,
was he in Spy Kids?
Yeah.
Oh, depressing.
But anyway,
that's-
if Sam Raimi's taught us anything, it's that anytime he does a trilogy, the third one he'll do what the fuck he feels like. Saturday Night Spidey.
Was this the first film of that trilogy that he brought his family into it? Because at the end it said directed by Sam Raimi and is it Ivan Raimi
Well,
or?
there's funny enough, Ted Raimi was one of the undead in the second.
Oh,
His brother was.
but that's
was
nice.
one of
Keep
the-
it in the family.
Sorry,
This is brother Jamie.
Jamie
Ted.
Raimi.
Ted.
They missed a treat.
Jamie Raimi.
Yeah.
Jamie Raimi.
That's like the fact that it's glossed over that Mick Wood's favourite joke ever is it's glossed over that Beyonce Knowles' real father is in fact Roy Castle.
Brilliant.
Beyonce Castle.
So,
Army of
Halloween.
Darkness.
Halloween.
Halloween.
So basically,
No,
is this what's
Evil
going to happen?
Dead. Not Halloween,
We get
Evil
scared
Dead.
too much. That what we've all done is we all just walked in here petrified, and none of us are prepared to speak because we're worried we may waken the undead hordes of something.
Show
or
me on the shrubbery where it's at.
Yeah.
Is anyone going to have a problem sleeping tonight?
Nah.
Exactly.
Knackered.
I might from
Fucking
I
knackered.
might from the giant erection Bruce Campbell's given me.
And now it comes out.
No, later when he's alone, it will.
It's been peeping out for a while.
Okay.
Oh god, he just looks down. It's a fucking hand.
You took my cock.
Actually, my cock got cut off by and I'm replacing the chainsaw.
That'd be quite
I
intriguing.
thought you were about to say a chipmunk. That's a whole other series.
Yeah, every time I open my flights here, dude, 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 dude.
Have you seen the is it the horror film that's coming out? Is it coming out this Halloween or has it just come out?
I haven't seen it.
Which
one? Ghost film
Busters?
where the
with the dude who plays Loki.
No, it's
Crimson Peaks,
It's
you're
a
thinking of?
ridiculous comedy. The ghosts, all the people in the house. I think the ghosts give them the ghost gives all of them hand jobs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I thought that was just a little short video.
It was a joke that was made into a sort
Hand
of
job
like.
lodge or
It's called
something?
Hand Job Cabin.
Right.
And it's particularly good. Yeah, it's worth watching all for that. But basically, the production values are so high that it does actually legitimately look like a film that could come out. It's very well done. Yeah. It's about a hand job demon that basically haunts these kids whilst they're staying in a cabin.
It just gives them awful hand jobs.
Scary Movie 2 not already do this.
Well, isn't Scary Movie up to 5 now? Or something?
Ghostbusters kind of already did it. It had that one moment with
The what?
in a PG-rated film.
The what happened?
The dream sequence.
There's a montage of weird stuff happening in whatever city it's set in, and there's a bit which
New
is
York.
blatantly New York. Is who is it? One of the characters
Ray.
that just ran was Ray.
Blackwood.
It's just an invisible ghost unzips his trousers and then it cuts to
Goodness
blowjob
me.
face basically.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have missed
It
that.
was cut out of the TV. So you know when you used to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
television,
yeah.
it was always cut out of that.
Yeah.
But literally, you just see his flies undo, and then there's a.
So you say he's uncut?
It's quite rare in America.
Oh god!
Has it come to Ghostbusters?
Why are you saying that and not Ove?
Or Gotwood.
Gotwood!
There was very few trees.
Not enough trees.
Not enough
Yeah.
trees.
That's
Well,
the
they're really
problem
bad.
with medieval America. No trees.
No trees.
This was not the
Or
true
if they are,
Star
they're dead.
film that the other two could be.
But I think that's the bit that annoys me about that film.
What, the lack of tree rape?
No, the medieval America. It doesn't look right.
Medieval.
What should medieval America?
It looked
So basically, if it said ye old McDonald's, you would have been a liar. White Castle.
It's just a bit off-putting.
Is it medieval America because right at the end when he looks out over all the ruins, there's Big Ben,
Big Ben,
right
yeah,
in front
yeah.
of him. They've gone, quick, think of a landmark.
Oh, is it?
Big Ben, that'll do.
It's
But
quite prominent,
they're
though.
probably bought
Yeah.
that by now.
Sorry?
America probably bought that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or if you think about it, I've always maintained, I think he woke up in post-apocalyptic Vegas.
Yeah,
With
because it's
a-
got all of them. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Think about it, large amount of landmarks.
All of the landmarks.
Pulled together. The only other option is
Miniature.
the Futurama, where all landmarks have ended up on this one beach.
Oh, because the mob governor. Yeah.
Amazing.
All right,
So
give
he
me
either
that.
woke up in Futurama or Vegas.
Cool. Yeah, that's good. Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I really was going to pitch an idea for how to channel Taz through the whole of this podcast just for payback.
Absolute
And I
whimsy.
completely forgot.
Taryn will be in a pit of his own vomit because he's drunk enough Brennivin to dissolve his stomach lining at this point.
There will be a point about 3 o'clock in the morning where I just go, so they did it without me.
Happy Halloween, my
Happy Halloween,
lovelies.
everyone. Yes.
Go to bed.
And let the
Tight.
bedbugs bite.
Tonight's podcast was brought to you by a shitload of snacks and junk food. Please check out our website on something. Twitter
On the
something
internet.
Else. I think we got Reddit now.
No.
Seriously, just listen to the other podcasts. They have much better closing. But just summing up, we've got some form of internet exposure.
And imagine him saying this in the voice of Vincent Price.
Could you please speak quietly? Every word is like ecstasy to my ears.
Night.
First you want to kill me, now you want to kiss me. Blow.
My boomstick!
Hail to the king, baby.
Ow.
So, what do you think, kid?
I love it, Ash.
Groovy.